Okay, so welcome back again to my YouTube channel. This is a continuation from the previous video I had earlier on the easiest way of making a car animations. And so to continue from where I stopped, I'm going to add in my car into my scene. That's just because obviously we need a car. I have like a file I worked with previously. Well, just in case you don't know, this is my second time animating this particular car scene. So I have my car already in a file, which I'll be dropping in the description below. I don't know if I'm going to drop it yet, but for those that are just learning and might find it difficult to get a car to use for their scene, I might just drop it there. On I don't know, sign up for a Patreon app or something like that. Yeah, I think it's a free. Anyways, you could always download yours from Blender Kits, or you could go online and search for other car models you would like to use for yourself. There are several of them. So I'm just going to pick out three cars because I need two cars for my race, and I need a third car as an obstacle car. I believe you get what I'm saying. So you just hit the Control C, and then I open up this file and hit the Control V, which is to paste. And yeah, I noticed something. My files are not showing on the screen. That I don't know why. But my next videos, I'm going to be looking to make that much better. But I think I should be able to like explain it pretty well to you. Sorry about that. So yeah, I said you need three cars. So one thing is the cars can come in three ways. The ones you download on Blender Kit comes with an empty of a cross. Occasionally they come with the box, the rectangle empty. Why it's I don't think I've gotten any downloaded car from Blender Kit with a pose. Yeah, I think I got the pose from the car rigged. Okay, a car with pose is a rigged car. I think I got the rigged car from I can't remember. But I downloaded it somewhere. But I'm going to be dropping the cars that I used in the description below. And in case you want to buy the whole scene, you could send me a mail and I'll reach out back to you. So bringing the three cars into the scene, it is quite easy to work with a car that has been rigged, unlike the ones with the empty cross and the ones in rectangle. So I've worked with these cars before, so they're in the opposite direction at the moment. So I would have to like turn them around to face the direction I want them to be in. But first of all, I need to like lay them down on the same space as the road. If you get what I mean. And mind you, if you click on the body of the car, it's not going to get any effect for you. So you have to click on the empties. The empties is what's like carries everything in the car, every property in the car, the tires, the glass, the door. So if you're not clicking on the empty, you are most likely just carrying nothing. You get? So I'm just going to like delete the keyframes I've assigned because this is an entirely new project. So yeah, just delete this. Oh, where's my car? Where did my car go? Let me check. Where did my car go? Oh boy. Where are you? Okay, that's in it. So I noticed the reason why my car disappeared for a moment there was because I'd worked with these cars before on a different project, and they they were on a different keyframe, if you understand what I mean. Like they were obviously on a different keyframe, so that's where the issue is at. So I'm going to put it on top and then I'm going to like arrange the cars in the way I want them to be. So one car way behind, the next one a little bit in front of it. I mean, you could just arrange it any way you want to arrange it, as long as they all face the direction you want them to face. But I think my cars are like buried, so I'm just going to like play around by raising them up till I'm satisfied. You guys can do the same till you are pretty satisfied your car is sitting directly on the road. Because if it is not, when you render your video, it will look like your car is floating or your car is sinking, which is pretty unrealistic. So that's empty in a box. And this is a pose car, as a rigged car already. And then the last one is just a cross. To me, I feel the easiest of them is a cross because all I just need to do is give direction, go front or to the back. But with the pose, is the pose seems easy too, but it will give you much more detail than the empties. So you could obviously just pick your poison. But anyways, I'll drop the three in the description below. So you can use one of the cars multiple times, or you could just try and diversify. It's all on you. So, I guess the cars are pretty seated on the floor on the road. And yeah, my road, I I am going to drop a different video on how to make a realistic road. I'm going to be dropping in the description, and just check on the right side of the screen for those that have a pretty good laptop. So I'm just going to drop the video up there, and then you all can watch the video and make your road much more realistic. Because I'm just going to use a black color material just in the material settings. I'm just going to use the black color material for my road because I don't want to burn out my laptop. So yeah, that's the view you're going to be getting when you're in render mode view. I hope you like that part because that's what we are going to be working with. After you're done with this, you have to give a part to your road. So I'm just going to add in a part. Sorry about that. I'm going to add in a part, and where's my part? Uh, I think I'm mixing things up. Where did my parts go? Okay, I think we'll work with that anyways. Okay, just add in your parts, and then oh, sorry, my wireframe was off. So I'll go again, add in my parts, and then make sure you elongate it. So I know the issue is sometimes you all might add in the parts and assign your car to the parts, and yet your car is going in the direct opposite side. For those using Blender 4.0 and above, yeah, there is a section on top of your screen that has the function of identifying the direction your part is going through. So you can always toggle that on to check. But if yours doesn't have, you click on the part, you go into edit mode, and then your shading, that's the last section after your render view. You hit that button, it's a button, but you hit the arrow down, and then you see where it shows orientation for the direction you are going to. So you can always like tap on that to like verify where your car is going or the arrow at which your direction is pointing at. So after adding that, you go into top view and then you drag out your parts. That's eating the last section and extruding. So just eat the last section, extrude, hit the last one, extrude. But make sure you are extruding on a particular angle because we want our root to be on that line, which is the y angle. After selecting that, you select your Okay, so in case um your part is facing an entirely opposite angle or an entirely opposite direction, all you need to do is go into segments and switch. There is an option in segments. I don't think I can like segment to wafer object. So I think I need to like pick the next immediate ones. So mind you, always pick like the next immediate ones if you want to give a segment. So after clicking the next immediate ones, you go up here and hit it. So under that, I think you can see change direction. So in case your whole part is going in the direction you don't want it to go, you see, you can obviously use the rotate on 180-degree or 360-degree, whatever you can use to like give it a different direction. You can use that, or you could come here and switch the direction you want it to go in, if you feel me. After doing that, you'd have to like pick the nearest segment, that's the nearest point, and you segment. You had more and more segments to get a realistic curve. If not, you'll be having sharp curves, which is not what we want. After doing that, I'm working with two cars that would need parts. The third car would not need parts because I'm just taking it on the first part of the scene, which is directly inside the tunnel, straight out of the tunnel. After doing that, I have one road for my main car and the other road for my pseudo car, which is my first car and my second car. So you could number or you could edit the parts in whatever name you want to edit it. Num car one, first car, pseudo car, you name it. Any name you want to give to the car parts. Just for easy identification. I mean, like if I'm to like assign it, let me know, oh, I'm assigning this to this, I'm assigning this to this. Do you get me? I think my car is sitting pretty well. Now I have to like assign this card to my parts. That should that be my next step? Yeah, I could drag my card to the far end. You could drag every of your cards to the far end. I'm trying to align it to the beginning of my parts. If it's going to make it so, okay, I see my problem. Mm, you don't have to go into post mode. You don't have to go into post mode to move your car, but let me just show you what post mode could do. If you select the back, get that function. If you select the front, you see the suspensions are pretty lit. So if in case you want to like render out a proper animation scene of a car, of the suspension, balancing and the legs, the easiest to use will be the pulse as a car rigged version. There are add-ons out there that you could use to rig your car to give a better and much more realistic vibe to it. You could check that out. Just search it online, and I think you get a pretty much nice result. So that's for the sorry about that. I think I have a flu or something. But on the empty with the box, I have a different result whenever I try and give it a suspension. But there are ways you could do that. You could pick out the body itself and manually set that in, or you could rigify your car and work with it. There's also the car with the cross empty. It also functions just like the normal box empty. So you'd have to work on your suspension yourself. But just in case you are not doing all of that, you could add um you could add rigid objects in the physics property to your work. Maybe a rough road, or if you learn how to create a proper road, just like I'm going to leave on the top right side of my screen again. If you're able to make a road that is pretty realistic, your cars would actually give the pump effect. But if not, you just have a smooth road. So this is me editing my road. I'm not editing it anyways, I'm just renaming it for easy identification. So you give your first car the main car, your second car a pseudo car. Name me anything you want, just as long as you know the different parts you are giving. So looking at my scene, this looks pretty nice. I'd say, in case you have other things to say that doesn't look nice, you send it to my mail or you could drop it in the comment section. But I believe you guys are following. And in case you guys find any part difficult, you could aspect difficult, you could drop a text in my comment box or in my mail. Anyways, since I worked on this project before, this camera definitely has to go because I'm not using it yet. And I think for now, my road looks okay. So now we are going to have to go and assign our cars to the direction we want them to go in. So from here, I'll select the car or the bottom of the car. That's what comes with the constraint. Let's just call it the constraint, the rigged version. Yeah, make sure your car is sitting perfectly on the road. Don't make any mistake because if it goes in, it doesn't make sense. If it's too up, it's floating. And that's not what we are looking for here. So now I'm going to click this and go into keying. Obviously, I was in post mode. We're going into keying and then make sure you're on the empty box because if not, you're doing nothing. And then change or in that empty box of your keying, you select active keying sets. The active keying sets, you pick location, rotation, and scale because that's what we'll be using for now. We can change that one later. Now I explain how to move your car. So all you have to do is go into your bone constraints. That's obviously the blue one, not the green one. Then from there, you'd have to, well, obviously I worked on this before, so that's why you see most of this colored stuff. But anyways, I would I will still have to like do it again for you guys. So now you go into your bone constraints and you had a new one. You select the follow part. Make sure it's the follow part you select. And then for follow part, you assign your car to your road. It's automatic. It just goes from just assign and that's all. Pick your follow parts and that's all you need to do. And you are good to go with your road. That's the best way to explain it to you guys. And then once you've selected those ones, all you have to do is toggle on your fixed position and your follow curve, which will make your work a lot more easier. You just glide from 0 to 1. I don't think there's any other issues from there. After doing that, you'd have to make your road crooked. I mean, we're in charge of the road this time around. So you could as well just like bend the road to your satisfaction. Wherever you need to add segment, just like we've done the road. But this one, we are making a path for our car to follow through. And always remember to always apply your active key set you get on each of your parts. That means if you're adding a new part, make sure you go into keying and in that active keying set box, always pick location, rotation, and scale. Please always do that. And remember, in case you have places you need to add segments, add segments so your road doesn't look all crooked. I mean, so your cars will have sharp bends and unrealistic bends. So as you can see, I am going to be going back and forth on my videos to see how they move. But I notice they are not moving in the same speed or they are not moving in sync. One is faster than the other. So what I have to do now is I'd have to change my motion, which is going to my keyframe and then right clicking and then I put in I change my interpolating mode. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it well to linear. That's all you need to do. My road didn't seem to like cover and I need to add my camera in. So I'm just going to elongate that and bring in the camera and make sure you set your camera to the point you want it to be in. And this is most laptops these days don't have the number pad Mine does. So you can easily go into your active mode, which would have been your control alt zero. But since that's not going to work, you can as well just like over your camera to the perfect point you want it to be in. If you want your camera to be facing the back of the car, the front of the car, the side of the car, I mean, anyone that works for you, you could as well just do it. And then if you feel it's too close, you don't want to go in and out, you can just play with your what's it called? Your focal length. And one thing I do to give this cinematic view, I don't know if you've noticed how I get my other parts black and my main this thing, like the object. I don't know. You see what I do now? Yes, something like this. The black background and the car in as the main point. So what I do is I usually just go into camera and then click on viewport display, and then I just increase my passive parts. If I'm passive parts, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well. You drag all the glide straight up to one, and I feel you should have that beautiful view. So now that you're done with that, you'd have to. Well, this is the ugly part of the work, anyways. You'd have to play your videos over and over and over and over again. At this point, you're basically done with your work. Remember, not only the cars are going to be in linear, your cameras also have to be in linear so they can like work together, if you get me. So at this point, you might get bored, but the point is to always and always play your video over and over again so you can like easily tell where your camera is colliding with objects and the likes. And yes, the reason why your camera is not following your car to the end of the road is because you didn't take your camera along with you. So what I'll do is I'll click on my camera and drag it to the end of the road where I want it to stop seeing the car. Do you get me? And then I'm going to like leave it there. That's by pressing high. So just take it on the x-axis or whatever y-axis you're working on, and then just once you get to the end, you click on high. That's inserting a keyframe. And for a much more nicer view, once you have selected that camera, you can go into the camera option and then you click on adding your constraints. Sorry, yeah, once you click on the camera, you go in and add your constraints to it by adding a follow path. So your camera would always follow that path. You can also use track to. So once you click add in your track to option, you can select any parts of the car you want your camera to be tracked to. So in this case, your camera is always going to be tracked to that particular point. You might be viewing from another angle, you might be viewing it from the top, bottom, left, right, anyone. But it's just always going to be tracked to that particular angle. So if your camera is facing downwards on whatever you point it at or whatever you track it to, wherever angle is looking at it from is always going to be pointing downwards to get. I believe you understand. So what I'm doing here is I need my car to be the focus, and I'm also considering the next car, my pseudo car next to it. So I want both of them to interact and have the cinematic view or a beautiful end view. Well, this is basically not a cinematic view for now, but I believe you get what I'm talking about. It's just like a mini tutorial for you in case you want to like upscale. So what I'm doing now is I'm moving my focal length both in and out. I'm trying my possible best to like not make my camera trail too far. If you watch most of the commercial videos, you don't have the camera a mile away. The camera is always tracked to whatever it is you want to track it to. So you go in through all the cameras I added. I added one under the bridge, one on top of the bridge, one behind one of the car, and the other one behind the second car, making four camera in my scene. So you'd have to go into each of this camera, which is clicking on the camera and selecting select active camera. or you assign a shortcut to it. The shortcut I had added to mine was Alt One, since my laptop doesn't have the number pad. So after doing that, it should be quite easy for you to like switch between cameras. Yeah. So I have four cameras in my scene, which is what I do for this project, or what I did for this project rather. So what you do is you click on each of the camera. I use Alt One, Alt One, Alt One. You get to like switch between them and to like work on the focal length. But I want it to be way too close. No, I want it to be far. But if I make it far, it's going to like affect my obstacle cars, which is the third car. So now for the third cars, I would say you don't need to add a part. You don't need to add a part for the third cars because most of them are just going to be driving on a straight line. We only need them before the bridge. We don't need them after the bridge. And before the bridge is a complete straight line, so we don't need them for that. If you get me, all we need them for is only to just move on a straight line and to form a kind of obstacle. If you get me. So now that you're done with that, you bend the road however you want it to be. I think the first time I bent the road, I didn't bend it all through. I bent only the beginning, which is where it goes in and out. You get, that's just for me to see. I felt like I wanted my road to have that intro of the switch. Most people don't want their road to have the intro. Most people want their road to go straight for a while before the switch. Do you get me? For me, I wanted mine to be having that intro, and I wanted a straight line once it comes out of the tunnel, which is what I did. And then, since I'm not going to be videoing after the bridge, I might as well just bend it however I want it to go, which is what I'm doing. And don't be short of segments, because if you actually want to make your road way longer than I did mine, you have to work on your segments. Your segment shouldn't be less, it should be too much. It should just be just about right for you to be able to work with yours. So, I mean, just play your segment. This is the boring parts. It's not boring, anyways, but these are the parts where you just like play your segment, add more segment, delete, bend. And yeah, for you to bend, in case you don't know how to bend, you click on the nearest two segments and you rotate on whatever axis you want to rotate it on. You get, and if you feel that's too much, you can delete just by clicking whatever segment you want and hitting X on your keyboard or delete. Or you could click on the segments and then extrude E on whatever axis you want to extrude on. I think with this, you should be able to do a proper segment. If that's a new, I don't know. You should be able to make a segment like that. Make sure it follows the road, because obviously you want your car to be on the road, not off the road. And make sure you use the X and the Y axis for it to be seated directly on the road, not for it to be lifting up, because there are no bumps on this road at the moment. So now you can watch your scene and see how it goes. Can you see? You see my camera is switching from the left to the right. And I am not bothered about that because I am not doing anything after the bridge together. If you are doing something after the bridge, then you would have to work with your road. You have to re-edit your road. And then I think I didn't add the track to option to that camera. This one has the track to option. So in case you want to like work with after the road, you can use the track to option. Or I don't know if it is because this car comes rigged. That's why it is much more better. So now, yeah, I just duplicate my third car, which is, you know, my obstacle cars. And mind you, most of these obstacle cars, okay, since we are using the same, or since you are using just one obstacle car, the color is going to be the same, which is not supposed to be. I mean, people have different cars, but due to the fact that my laptop is a little bit low, it doesn't have enough power to like check the what's it called, how the render is supposed to be, and I'm not trying to like waste time in explaining this video to you. I'm not going to go into my render view. I'm just going to work with this. But in case your laptop is good enough, you can obviously change it. Or as I am like this, I can obviously just pick one part of the body of each of these cars, go to the object settings or objects characteristics or object properties. Yes, object properties, pardon me. And then switch the colors. Make sure you duplicate before you switch, because if you switch without duplicating, you're duplicating all the old cars. Do you get me? There are other details you could add, like the lights and making your camera have the bumps, like some tutorial. I mean, some car, what's it called? Adverts always have their cameras bouncy a little bit. I mean, because since most of them are standing on a gimbal, but for this case, I also believe there are some car adverts that their cameras are similarly smooth. So I'm banking on that for this. So one thing you should know is, since me, I'm not using a part for my obstacle cars, I'm just going to neglect them on that part, since I need them just for the straight line. So I'm just going to work on a straight line, and instead of me going, yeah, this is where I'm talking about. You go into your camera view mode and you check if the camera is disturbing other things. So for that, instead of doing that, if you feel that's going to be too difficult for you, you can go into this mode and just like look at it from the top view and then play around it. You know, the end of your camera is basically where the camera sees, like the end of your camera, not the big box. The one inside is where your camera sees. So all you want to do is make sure that particular part doesn't touch any other thing at any point in time, if you get me. So just stick to that. Make sure it doesn't touch any other thing as you move. So this part is going to bore you for my workload, so you're just going to go back, forwards, back, forwards, back, forwards, and always remember to save your work, because at this point, if you lose your work, you might, I don't know, be disturbed or angry at yourself. So that's what I'm just doing here. Going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Adding keyframes. Oh, sorry, that's wrong. That's supposed to be there. Adding keyframes, moving, move out. Do you get? So you do it on the top view, and you do it in the view of your camera. I'm not doing anything on my bridge yet. I'm not doing anything under my bridge yet, because those ones are quite easy. I just need to pick a particular time where I would want my cameras to be active. So I think I should just like speed up this part if it's not going to bore you or it's going to bore you. I don't know. I'm trying my possible best to be like very explanatory as possible. So one thing you should notice is each time your car moves, make sure they are not colliding with another car. And if your project is a very little project, you can bank on your cars colliding on the other car when sorry when the other cameras are not picturing it. Do you get? So peradventure I have two cameras in my scene. The first camera is following one car, and the second camera is also following the other car. If the second camera is going to interfere by maybe entering another car or hitting one obstacle, at the moment it does that, switch it to the next camera. I'm going to show you how to switch cameras by using markers.